You're listening to the Digital Deep Dive, where we tackle the newest trends, strategies, and pain points shaping growth across the digital landscape. From Amazon and D2C to international expansion, join our host and e-commerce leaders across multiple industries for in-depth discussions on how to maximize your brands in the digital arena. Now, here's your host, Aaron Conant.
Hi everyone, Aaron Conant here. Thanks for joining us for another episode where I talk with leaders in the e-commerce, media, and tech space, from entrepreneurs to platinum executives. On this special edition of the show, we'll take a look back at some of our favorite conversations with past guests. It's brought to you by BWG Connect. At BWG Connect, leading corporate businesses can find the research they need to excel in the modern marketplace. We specialize in technology, media, e-commerce, and payment industries, just to name a few. BWG Connect's network of industry executives works to provide exemplary research and corporate intelligence services. We have hosted over 2,000 virtual and in-person forums to develop and leverage this network to its fullest potential. Our industry advisory boards are tailored to their specific industries, representing the best of their respective communities. Ever since 2013, we have held to the philosophy that everyone contributes to a candid group conversation. Most importantly, there are no sales pitches, ever. Go to bwegstrategy.com to see how our research services can transform your business today. Now, let's look back at some of our favorite conversations from previous episodes.
Streaming TV ads aren't for everyone. Amazon might tell you that streaming TV ads are for everyone, but I'm not going to tell you that streaming TV ads are for everyone. There's a certain type of brand with which streaming TV ads are particularly effective and should be table stakes within your advertising strategy. So one, we spoke about sponsored ads. Once your sponsored ads are starting to plateau on incrementality and you feel as though there's nothing that you can do to generate more searches for your brand or your category, and you really need to create a new category or create interest and steal share, that's when you should start thinking about an awareness strategy. So like as a rule of thumb, two things that I like to say is, if you're not spending at least $250,000 a month or near $250,000 a month on Amazon ads as a whole, spread across sponsored ads and your DSP strategy, honestly, streaming TV ads might not be for you. It would probably behoove you to spend a little bit more on sponsored ads, really, really capture all of the latent demand at the bottom of the funnel before you're willing to invest in awareness strategies. However, if you exceed that threshold of $250,000 a month on sponsored ads plus DSP, you're likely in a position in which you need to grow share, create awareness, and reach new potential customers that may not be searching your product or category. And that's when you should be investing in TV ads.
From an e-commerce perspective, that whole subscribe and save thing and all those initiatives, or auto ship or messaging, or maybe some funding towards it, trying to, lock in a consumer while providing them a discount, make their life a little bit easier. Like, not that people haven't focused on it, but really maybe put a little bit closer look, maybe create some content around subscribe and save, or negotiate different things, with the retailer for us. So I think one, if you're like an e-com team, subscribe and save. Retail media wise, right? Retail media is big in topic, a lot of spend there. But how do you get a little bit more granular and specific? Now looking at your retailers, how you're going to allocate money is already a tough decision for brands. But maybe now you look at in your categories, where is there a lot of private label where there's a chance to trade down, and or where is there the largest price gap? And then you make your decision. Do you put more money in those, or do you pull back? That each brand will make their own decision on that. But kind of rack and stack it and look at it from that lens to see, well, how competitive is it? Where do I have less private label, or, not as bad of a price gap per se, so I can make my adjustments there. And then your content, from an e-com team, it really there's two kinds of content. We'll talk about the marketing piece in a second, but your attributes, what are people really searching? Right? Is it best value? Is it cheapest? Is it, whatever? Is there a change there because of the economic situation? And do you have that built in, whether it's your hidden keywords, whether it's in your copy and how you're setting up things or have to reset up? So I think from the e-com, those are just a few of them.
Most e-commerce brands look at the logistics, fulfillment, and delivery as a necessary evil. We say if the death, moving, and taxes Logistics is a close fourth. It's one of those things that's really relegated to people that know operate. I don't know supply chain, operate, all that stuff. That's not, I can bring the customer in. And if that becomes an afterthought, it may seem nuanced, but we believe it's fundamental to the overall experience of the customer. And I'm not talking about, fast delivery or hyper fast delivery or last mile. It's none of that. I think we've all, we drank the Kool-Aid for a while and we realized that customer just wants you to meet the expectation that you set, that they have, and the promise that you've made. Just live up to that and I'm fine. I'm not always leaving for the airport in a few hours and need the item now. Most of the time, if you tell me that I'm going to get it and the promise is clear and you deliver on that promise, I'm cool. And that's a big part of it. It's setting the right expectation at the right speed. And it's about promising what you will deliver and then delivering on that promise. Now, both of those have to be lived up to for a successful result. Because if you make a lot of promises, and it is easy to make promises, and brands today are certainly aware, much more aware than ever before about what it means, to make an accurate promise, which is why there are so many sites that say, 4 to 10 days or 3 to 8 days.
Forget about it.
Right? They'll go out and leave themselves the margin, rightfully so that the promise is accurate. And you don't want to make a promise you don't keep, because the implications are much worse of making a promise and not living up to it.
You've got a more established process. That's the traditional merchandising groups at the retailer and the brand sales teams, that they still have their JBP process. And if that's completely siloed off and different, and you're not connecting it to that digital e-commerce and retail media and advertising part of it, then you're creating really different strategies within the same companies that are trying to do different things, probably not aligned. You've got spend that's going against different metrics, different KPIs, trying to accomplish different things. People who maybe are offering credits here or support there, which doesn't align to the people that actually control those things. It's like you create this cycle of confusion. And so it really is something where it can be brought together in a much more effective way.
And that was one of the questions we asked, actually, Aaron, in our research. We were like, okay, what JBP do you have? And they were like, oh, which one? And we were like, what do you mean, which one? And the brands were like, oh, well, we have a retail media JBP, and then there's like a broader business JBP. And we were like, oh, interesting. Who's involved in each of those? Totally separate teams. They don't necessarily talk to each other. And some brands even shared an anecdote where they had like sales reps who were committing to retail media spend and not telling the marketing team, and they were unaware. And so at the end of the day, they were committing to something that they actually couldn't do. And so it caused all kinds of turmoil on the P&L for the finance team, because both hands weren't talking to each other in the same organization, which cannot happen, especially because everyone's so focused on profitability right now.
So I think a lot of the AI, even what I've seen in the company I'm with, it's focused a lot on sponsored ads, which is the most obvious, right? Because that's where most people are spending their time and money. And so, really to kind of master that. But what's cool is now, imagine now with DSP, you have AI and you have the same type of automation and you have the same type of machine language learning that's really kind of coming into play when you're talking about your programmatic spend. And how do you do that specific targeting, and especially those consumers that are really not, shopping on Amazon or leaving Amazon, and how do you really retarget them? So I think AI in that, and then AI just across the board in a retail media platform. So, we talk a lot about Amazon, but there's Walmart there too, right? Walmart's starting to grow a little bit slowly, but it still continues to grow in the space of budget and dollars going towards retail media. And then you have those top 10 e-retailers, the Targets of the world, right? The Instacarts of the world. And so I think what's really cool is I think the adoption of AI, you're going to see across all of that. You're going to see it across all of the full funnel advertising. But I also, what you just said is very relevant. Really let AI and the technology really take care of it from even the beginning of launching a product on Amazon, creating the copy, creating assets, going ahead and setting up doing the organic SEO keywords, and then moving towards AI automation in terms of how do I set up my campaigns based on my budget, based on, my daily budgets or my goals and everything. So, we're seeing a lot of that stuff right now. Even with XBars, we're doing the AI adoption right now within DSP. We're excited about that rolling out here very soon. And then the continuation of that through omni-channel and those other e-retail channels.